Hi, welcome to another episode from Silly Social Media. I'm Sam Flynn, your weird host for today, and today we're going to look at finding people and connecting with them on LinkedIn. So we're specifically going to look at finding the right people to connect with and using the right search terms to find them, what the reason will be for you to connect with them, so what it is you're giving as a reason to them to connect with them, and then personalising that message to make sure that you do actually see the success, that they do actually decide to connect with you. And for the majority of this, I'm going to stick on LinkedIn and show you actually how to do this, where to do this. It'll make much more sense if we're on there. So let's head over to LinkedIn. So if you don't know your way around LinkedIn, don't forget to watch that introductory LinkedIn video first, so you've got a bit of a feel of what LinkedIn's all about and where you can find different things. So in terms of connecting with people, you'll see on the homepage here, over to the right, we have a people bar. Now, it could be that you've met someone at an event and that you want to connect with them on LinkedIn, or you know someone, and it could just be a simple case of sticking in their name. So I was having lunch with Barack Obama the other day, so I thought, let's connect with him on LinkedIn, and you'll see there he's come up, so we can click through to his profile and make that connection. But if you're wanting to connect with people that you haven't yet met, you don't know the names of them, you want to run a search really for new connections, the best thing you can do is click on this advanced tab that sits next to that people bar. And that will take you to all these options. We can now start actually really kind of honing in on the people that we want to speak to. So it could be you've got certain keywords. So you might want to connect with people that are mentioning marketing in their profile, or people mentioning that they work in events. So have a think of the keywords that you want to connect with. Or it might be that you're looking for specific job titles. So you might want to search for owner, for instance. And then you'll see under here it says current or past. Now you might want to only speak to people who are currently the owner of a business. So we can choose that as current. It could be that the specific companies that you want to search for. Now this is really useful if you're doing a mail shot, for instance, and you want to send something to that company in the post, but you don't know the key person to send it to. So you can stick the company name in there. Or it could be someone that you want to connect with that has been to a certain school or university. So you can stick that in there. Back over here, you can include first names and last names. So if it's the case that you can only remember the first name of someone and their company name, you can still search them out through that way. And what's really handy is you can actually search in or near a location. So you could pick a certain country if you're wanting to search in different countries. And then you could stick a postcode in around the area. So I want to search near to Manchester. So I'm going to stick an M1 postcode in there. And I'm going to say I want to search 35 miles around that. So it gives me a much more close-knit kind of community in which to search from for those business owners. Scrolling down again, you'll see there's a few more options here that we can choose from. So we could pick out certain industries. So it could be that I only want to search for owners of people in computer software industries. And I could even search in specific groups. I could also look at relationships. Now, relationship is how connected you are to that person. So your first connection means you're already connected to them. You've already got that connection. Second connection means there is someone else connected to that person that you are connected to as well. So you share a connection. Group members means you're in the same group as them. And third means that there's kind of 2 degrees of separation between you and that person. And then obviously everyone else on LinkedIn as well. You can also search specific languages, and then you'll see on here there's a lot of kind of greyed out options. So we've got job function, company size, whether they're Fortune 1000, whether they've recently joined LinkedIn, their years of experience, going back up here, what they're interested in, and what their seniority level is. And they're all greyed out. I can't actually access those options. And that's because these are actually only available if you have a LinkedIn premium account. So if you're paying for LinkedIn. And in some respects, it is actually worth to pay for LinkedIn if you're running regular searches like this. So you might think, well, I only ever want to look at people that have got a company size over 500 employees. So you would only want to search those people. You wouldn't want to search all of LinkedIn. So it'd be well worth you paying if that's the only people you want to connect with. But otherwise, I think they give quite a lot of options in the free basic search. So let's run this search and see what we find. So our search has run for an area around the centre of Manchester for owner of computer software companies. Now you see, first of all, it's coming up with some of my first connections. LinkedIn will automatically base the search on how connected you are to that person and how many times owner is actually mentioned in their profile. So it kind of bases it on those two things. And it might be that I want to refine that search because I only want to find new connections. I don't want to look at my current connections. So I can just scroll down here, go down here and choose that I only want to connect with second connections. And it gets rid of those first ones. So now we've only got 104 results. I can scroll down again and decide on top of second connections I want to actually search third and everyone else as well. So we've taken that back up to 638 results. So loads of people I could be connecting with here. So have a play around with those advanced searches, make them fit for what you're looking for. And there's probably different kind of things you could be looking for. So instead of owner, for instance, I could have searched managing director or CEO. You know, have a play around with similar titles that lead to the same thing. Same with keywords. If you're looking for, you know, certain things to be mentioned over and over again within their profile, then run a keyword search rather than kind of a title search. So now I've found my people, I want to start connecting with some of them. Now I've never met these people, I don't know them, so it really is like a blind connection. You know, they have no knowledge of me or unlikely to have any knowledge of me, and I've never met them before either. But I know there's value in us having a connection with each other. So I'm going to send them a connection request regardless of the fact I don't actually know them. And to do that I just click on connect. And it will come up with this box, how do you know Arthur? It will give you a few options. Is he a colleague? And we'd have to pick a certain company that he was a colleague at and choose that on there. Is he a classmate? And we'd have to choose the school we went to together. You could say we've done business together and again choose the company that you've done business together at. You could say he's a friend, but most people have their privacy settings that you will need to include an email address there. Not all, but majority of people will have it set up that you will have to put in an email address if you're saying that they're your friend. Again, with other, you would have to use an email address. If you say, I don't know Arthur, LinkedIn won't actually let you send the connection. LinkedIn wants you only to connect with people that you know. But I find that very, very restrictive in terms of expanding a network. So it really kind of leaves you a bit restricted in terms of what would you actually select out of those options. And what I would do is I would go for the we've done business together and choose the position that you're looking to connect with them for. Now, I know there's a little bit of dishonesty with this really because I don't know Arthur, so we've definitely never done business together. So the key thing is now that I include a personal note. And it says here, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. Best thing you can do always, no matter who you're connecting with, is scrap that. Take that away. Even if you know the person, even if you've met them, I still would take that away and just write them a message about where you met and how you met them or how lovely it was to meet them at that such and such an event the other day. But always personalise the note. Don't send that standard LinkedIn message. It looks really lazy and it just doesn't, it's not the kind of way you would send an email. You wouldn't send an automatic email. So don't send an automatic message through LinkedIn either. So yeah, if you've met someone, great, tell them where you've met, remind them of it. If you haven't and you want to connect with them, this personal note is going to be key to whether they choose to connect with you or not. So there's a few things you could do in here. You could literally just state that you've come across their profile, you think they look really interesting, you think the connection will be a mutual benefit to each other, you're up for connecting with local people in the local area, you know, include lots of different reasons why you would want to connect with them. So on my message I've put, hi Arthur, I've just come across your profiles, we're both connected to similar contacts. I'm interested in building my connections in the Manchester area and beyond and it would be great to connect with you and I hope to meet someday too. So, and you know, a really nice personal note, that actually means they probably won't even notice that I've clicked we've done business together because they'll automatically read that personal note. So it's a really nice way of kind of introducing yourself to someone. Even better if you can mention something from their profile. So you can say, oh, I see you used to work at so-and-so. I know a few people from there. Or, you know, I see you're interested in, or see you won the award for. Have a quick look on their profile and see if you can relate it back to something on their profile. Now, if your business is built around having sales meetings with people and you're interested in getting your foot through the door and having a sales meeting with them, I think this is actually a perfect opportunity to ask them. You know, rather than building up the connection and waiting further down the line, I would just almost go straight to the point in this note. So instead I could say, hi Arthur, just come across your profile. I'm working with a number of computer software companies at the moment and helping them with their social media. Are you up for a 20-minute coffee and chat about how I could help you out as well? And it'd be great to connect too. So I'm actually asking for the meeting. I could even make that more specific and say, up for a 20-minute coffee and chat next Tuesday at 2 p.m. You know, be a lot more direct towards when we want to meet. Now you can imagine if you sent out 10 of those a day, even if only one of those people came back to you and said sure, why not, that's one meeting every day for probably 5 minutes of work. And you know, yes, the other 9 might be a bit, well, who are you, I don't want to know you, but it's really not going to damage your relationship. It's only going to give you that extra foot through that door. So I would really try this as an option if you do sales meetings. If myself and Arthur were in the same group, then group would be an option on there, and that would actually be an even better way to connect with him, because I can then say we're in the same group as each other, and it's much nicer than kind of lying and saying we've done business together, which is a good reason really to get involved in some member heavy groups that have got lots of members in, and we'll definitely look at groups in future Silly Social Media videos. Back on our search results, the other way I could connect with Arthur is to get introduced. I know he's a second connection, which means we've got mutual connections, and you can see here there's a few of them. So I could choose a person to actually introduce me to that. So I could say, right, Gary, can you introduce me? Then I craft a message to Gary about why I want to be introduced to Arthur. So I could include the same thing really, that I've been working with other computer software companies and I'd really like to speak to Arthur, and would you be confident in giving me an introduction? And that's another nice way to get into the door with these people, because you're not going in direct to them, you're asking someone to introduce you. The danger with this is that Gary might be very open to connecting with anyone on LinkedIn, and you might not even know Arthur. So you could be asking someone who doesn't know Arthur to actually connect you in there. But it's another way to actually build those connections, get your foot through the door, and people are a little more softer if they've been introduced rather than if you've gone in direct. So that could be another option for you in building those connections. So here's your silly summary on finding people and connecting with them on LinkedIn. Number 1, look for the people that you've already met by just searching for their name in the people bar. Or number 2, if you don't know their name and want to connect with new connections, then use that advanced tab. Number 3, fill out all the parameters that you want to search by. And number 4, think about whether you want to pay for a premium account so you can actually expand your search and include things like company size. Number 5, make sure that you think through how you know that person. And if you don't know them or you've not done any work with them, then just always choose the We've Done Business Together option, unless you're in the same group as them and that option comes up. Then select that you're in the same group. And number 6, to back this up, you always need to include a personal note. Even if you know them, make sure that note is really personal to them. If possible, you can ask for the meeting in that note. Just keep it really nice and personable. And if you don't know them, sometimes it's even better to just go through getting introduced via another connection. Get another connection to introduce you to that person so that it's more of an introduction rather than going in there cold. So that's been today's silly social media video. Hope it's been really useful for you. And I look forward to seeing you on all the social media sites, in particular LinkedIn. So give me a connection request. Make sure it's personalised or I'll be on you like a ton of bricks. And I shall see you next week. Take care.